Cut off the slack, you fucking moron!
Hello, welcome to Screen Share, a movie podcast.
A move podcast. This is the podcast where we move.
You wish. I'm Calder.
I'm Adam.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I
And
am.
we're talking about West Side Story 2021 today.
2021.
It's directed by Spielberg.
Steven.
What'd you think?
So before going into this, you've seen the previous West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
You know the story of West Side Story.
Yeah.
You know the West Side Story.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I didn't know a single thing about West Side Story other than, like, there's a bit where they rumble.
Okay. Okay.
Like, that's truly all I knew.
Did you not watch it in high school? Because I watched
No.
it in English class.
I did not.
Because it's an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, which I didn't even know until halfway through the movie when I was like, that's kind of like Romeo and Juliet. And Olivia was like, well, yeah, it's an adaptation. And I was like, oh, so they're going to die.
Well, spoilers.
Well, I feel like maybe actually we should say at the top of each pod, like, oh, we're going to be talking about the film. So, like, watch it first. Which I feel like we kind of, like, established that.
But also, like, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I've seen this a lot. I saw this version in theaters. I like the movie. I'm a bit of a musicals guy. I
Okay.
like musicals.
I'm usually not, but there's a couple that I like.
La La Land?
I liked La La Land. I like Tick Tick Boom.
I wouldn't say like, what is it? A Star is Born. I wouldn't call that a musical.
No,
I feel like
it's
that's a movie with music in it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like how I feel about a lot of the animated ones as well. Whereas, like, I don't think Frozen's a musical. I think it's a movie with music in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like, a lot of the classic Disney movies as well, almost all of them are technically musicals.
Yeah, but I don't think they feel the same. So, it's based on the 1960... Well, this is a remake of the 61 movie, which is based on this 57 play by Jerome Robbins. Okay. Music by Steven Sondheim and Leonard Bernstein.
I know Steven Sondheim.
Leonard Bernstein, Bradley Cooper's going to play him in a movie.
Cool.
Maestro. It's supposed to come out this year. I don't think it will.
Like this year is in 2023 or 2022?
Oh, no, 2023.
Yeah.
No, wait, what year is it?
This is 2020. I've thought that this year's 2023 multiple times this year, but it's not 2023
Maybe
yet.
it's a Mandela effect.
Or I think time is just moving so slowly.
Probably since they dropped the nukes, it's kind of slowing down.
Yeah. Or
Why is that funny?
I just think of somebody, like, listening to this podcast years down the line when, like, there's actually a nuclear war in, like, 2032 or something like that. And then they're like, oh, wait, I thought this was taking place. I thought they were recording this in 2022. Maybe.
The internet will be deleted by then.
Yeah. But as far as my thoughts, like, I went into this not knowing a single thing, so it was unraveling as I went. And,
kind of smack the mic there.
That's
Sorry.
fine. But, so I'd say overall, I have positive feelings about it overall.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, crazy about the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of things that I was kind of like, on.
There's a couple things where they're, like, not great or as good as you'd hope they would be.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that is great throughout is just, like, how good the movie looks. And how the movie's shot. Do you not think it looks good?
I don't think it looks very good.
Why? Because it's...
It's not that I don't think it looks good. I think the sets are great and it's, like, very crisp visuals.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's, like,
the
very
colors?
gray. But I get that that's the time period and it's, like, in dusty, dirty New York.
And the first, like, the 61 version, it's, like, a big departure from the 61 version because that's, like, high color, Technicolor film. So, like, one of the main things about it is, like, it's bright, it's colorful, it's, like, kind of fun. But I don't think the 61 version's, like, great, honestly, which might be a hot take. I don't think the 61 version's great.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I have nothing to judge or to compare this to. It's just kind of as it sits, which I think is partially why when I was talking to Olivia Randall, where I was like, what is it about West Side Story that made it so popular and why people like it so much? Because my main thing was like, why would it become so popular and like one of the more higher regarded musicals of all time if it's based on a different story? It's not like an original story.
Yeah.
But I kind of get it. It's a bit more modern, and like honestly just changing the setting kind of changes it a lot.
Well, it makes it relatable to something that like you can relate to, or like people could relate to at the time, I guess.
And then they're able to use like more modern dialogue. Yeah. Shakespeare.
And it's like not about these two weird families and like there's some sort of like real conflict and stakes to it. It's kind of grounded, whereas like Romeo and Juliet's like not. Yeah. Really. I guess maybe it was if you're living when old Willie was alive, but
old Willie.
Yeah.
Willie Shakes.
I kind of wish that I know it might have been kind of tacky, but like I wish they made it for like this time. Yeah. Because you're remaking a movie.
Update the updated Romeo and Juliet. Like it's kind of like an updated Romeo and Juliet, but you think they should have updated the West Side Story.
Yeah, I just think it's strange to remake a movie that at that time was an update for modern times of the story. But I guess that would just be a different musical. But I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, was it necessary? But I also really like how well it made it is.
Yeah, I think that overall it's good. But like I guess if they were to make it a modern thing, like before it's two weird families, now it's two gangs. Like what would it be now? Like chess club versus the football team?
What? No, it could still be two gangs.
I guess so.
Yeah. Do you think gangs don't exist anymore?
No, well, no. I think gangs still exist, but I don't think they're as prominent as they used to be.
I don't know if that's true.
Was. I mean, you could tell in this movie, it's like commonly known by everyone that there's gangs, and like they go, "Oh, that's one of the members of this gang. They're probably gonna go fight that other gang." It's like that's not really a thing that happens anymore. It's a lot more like behind the scenes nowadays. I think, and it's a little more organized nowadays. Now we're just talking about crime.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like your evidence for there being more gangs in the past being that in this movie, gangs seem to be common, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I guess I mean like, and I have no like experience or evidence to back this up, but like, I feel like there used to be like big gangs where it's like these gangs are having a turf war. Whereas I feel like now it's just like, I feel like it's more smaller scale now because I feel like,
I guess
they're more. I think it's just more hidden.
On. It's just more hidden now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Good that we agree on gangs.
So this movie's written by Tony Kushner.
Okay.
Him and Spielberg have made 4 movies together: Munich, Lincoln, this one, The Fabelmans, coming out this year.
Only one of those I've seen is Lincoln.
What do you think of Lincoln?
I liked it. I watched it when I was like 14. So like, I think I got a little bored, but I thought that it was like, that was one of the first movies I watched where I was like, whoa.
Oh, like, yeah?
This is like...
It's different. This is better.
Film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Lincoln. I haven't seen the other ones. I know, like, I've seen some stuff from Munich, and apparently The Fabelmans is like pretty good. It's got Seth Rogen in it.
Nice.
It's about Spielberg growing up.
But you haven't seen Lincoln?
No, I haven't seen Lincoln.
Maybe we should do that as one of them. The thing is, there's so many movies I want to do for this podcast, but so little time.
Like they keep making them for some reason.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I think just like in general, actually, we'll talk about the reception to this movie.
Sure.
High critical reception. Movie was an absolute flop.
I kind of got that vibe watching the movie where I was like, I feel like this is like a movie where people see it and they go, that was good, but like no one really goes to see it. But like, of course, it's a movie that probably had a super high budget.
Yeah, so it cost $100 million.
That's lower than I thought it would be, but that's.
But the break even was reportedly $300 million.
Oof.
And it made 75
million.
Yeah.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Wow.
Now, it came out last year Christmas time.
Yeah.
So that's around Spider-Man.
Oh, true.
And
That
you're
was a bad
also
time.
expecting people to go see a musical with like no real big stars.
And that was also just like entering, people are going to the movies again.
But
like,
then it
somewhat
closed
regularly.
down. Right?
did it?
Remember last year?
Oh, yeah, it closed down again. Yeah.
Because I left working at the Cineplex.
Of course. That's definitely the only reason why you left.
We won't talk about that on the pod.
That's top secret.
And then it kind of came out on Disney Plus, and that's
I can
it.
almost
Like, that's
guarantee
the
more
run.
people have seen it on Disney Plus
Oh,
than
of
saw it in
course,
theaters.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think another thing hurting this movie is the whole Ansel Elgort thing.
Yeah.
Not that it's like I don't think that is the reason it didn't make $400 million, but like I think it's the reason it's not as big on social media as it could have been.
And like before all the stuff about Ansel Elgort came out, like I'd say generally I liked him. Like I like Baby Driver a lot.
I think he's fine. He's
But,
one of
like-
the big problems I have with this movie.
Well, that's the thing. Regardless of controversy, I just don't think he was the right pick.
And I don't think I don't think the original Tony's very good either. I think Tony is like a very hard part to cast.
Maybe.
Because he's a piece of shit, but he's also got to be charming
Yeah.
and be able to sing.
Well, he's not
And, like,
really a piece of shit.
He's a
though.
piece of shit.
I mean, he used to be a piece of shit.
Slick back hair, glass house, white Ferrari,
Lives
for New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Beats a man half to death. Or, sorry, more like 9/10 to death.
Kills a man, fucks his sister.
Ugh.
That's part of it. That's
Well,
one of the
technically,
questions.
he,
We'll get
like-
into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But I just don't think that he's very good as the character. Like, I don't think he's, like, bad. It's just, like, especially... I keep forgetting her name. Who played...
Rachel Zegler?
Yes.
Yeah. Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just so good.
Yeah.
That, like, I didn't think he was that bad when he was just, like, singing in his shop. And I was like, oh, he's not bad.
But when
I
they're
guess.
together, she's like
And then-
blowing him away.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even kind of when he's with Rita Moreno, and I don't think she's like perfectly like outstanding in the movie. She's really good, but like he's not good when it's just him and her either.
No.
And when it's just him, it's kind of like I don't care about him that much.
Yeah.
I think Tony's just like a hard part to nail.
I also think
to
his
get someone to
singing
nail.
style is just a little weird. It's very like, it's like I don't even know how to describe it. I like don't have the dialect to talk about singing like this, but like, it's a very like it feels like a deep, kind of like guttural throat kind of way of singing.
Where he's like saying it with like his Adam's apple kind of
yeah.
thing.
Whereas like Rachel Ziegler is like she's singing outside of her mouth.
Yeah. Sure.
Like you know what I mean though, where
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think
it
so.
feels like as soon as she hits a note, it's like it was already there.
Yeah.
almost.
It's like almost effortless.
yeah, and it's like effortlessly 11 out of 10, and his is like it feels like
It's a
he's
struggling
trying-
6 out of
exactly.
10.
It's a struggling 6, which like it's fine. Like I don't think that he's like I said, I don't think he's bad in it. I
Yeah,
just think
it's just like
out of all of the singing performances, I think he does the worst.
yeah, and he out of the 5 main cast, so we'll go. That's saying Riff,
Maria,
Ariana
Tony.
DeBose. I don't remember what her character's name is.
Anita, I think it
Yeah,
was.
Bernardo. Out of the 5 of those,
He's the worst.
he's the worst.
Yeah.
yeah. The other
And
ones are
Best is Rachel Ziegler. Second best is easily, I forget her first name.
Ariana?
But Ariana DeBose. Yeah.
And then I like Riff as well. I think Bernardo doesn't get a lot to do.
Yeah. Bernardo doesn't get a lot to go. Dude, I'm like,
Riff's not likable.
dude, that's honestly biggest nitpick about the movie. And like I said, I haven't seen any previous versions of this.
Yeah.
I think that like it feels the whole time like they're trying to convince me that Riff is deep down a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
There was not a single point that I had any sympathy or empathy for him, because as soon as they introduce him, they're like, oh, he's part of a gang. Second thing we learn about him, oh, he's racist.
Mm-hmm.
And then he really keeps up the racism. And then like and he's just like completely irrational
Mm-hmm.
and selfish the entire time. And then like even after he dies, like I also think it reflects badly on him that all of the boys who used to be under him try to rape someone after like the same day that her partner died.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
I don't
none
think
of them
the
are
movies-
likable at all.
I don't think the movie's trying to make you like Riff at all. But I think there's the part
But it
where
feels like
Tony's
that.
trying to convince himself that Riff's a good guy. Even
But
though
he's
he
supposed
knows
to be like
Riff
the
isn't.
Mercutio, right?
Yeah.
Mercutio is like kind of likable though.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like there are problems there, but he's likable.
Yeah, and the dislikability in Romeo and Juliet falls on the parents, but the parents
Yeah.
aren't in this.
True.
So that falls on Riff and Bernardo.
I guess so. But the thing is, Bernardo, like
Bernardo doesn't
I
have a
see
lot
as
to do.
irrational and like he's very like quick to anger. Like he has a bunch of flaws, but like he's also kind of likable because he just cares about his sister. He just like cares about his partner. He like has a job.
Yeah.
Like he just feels like an actual person.
Well, he's
Whereas-
a boxer.
Sure. But like I don't know, Riff just feels like there's not a redeemable quality about him.
I think the key to it is the fact that these guys have been stuck there and their families have been stuck there.
Well, yeah, the
So,
only bit
like-
of sympathy is like, oh, I understand why he is this way.
I don't think he's a likable character. I agree with you on that.
Okay. But it just maybe you disagree, but it felt to me like they were trying to convince me the whole movie. Like I was supposed to be
I
sad
think they're
when
trying
Riff
to
dies.
have you understand him, understand the circumstance that
guess
he's
so.
in, but you don't have to be like, I forgive him. Like, you don't have to feel bad for him, but you need to at least, like, extend enough to understand, like,
Yeah.
oh, he comes from a family of people who are, like, just kind of degenerates.
Yeah.
So, like, this is what he's gonna do.
Well, actually, I have a piece of analysis that I just thought about. Because it's the Jets and the Sharks. It feels like the Sharks are like not developed at all, really. And I feel like that's because they knew that if they developed the Sharks more, everyone would just cheer for the Sharks because the Jets are so unlikable. So they had to just not develop the Sharks so that they're kind of on even playing ground. Because like at least I kind of know the Jets.
They don't really develop the Sharks, though, in the first one either.
Well, that's what I'm
yeah.
I'm not saying specifically for this movie necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But like just in the story in general, because like I don't know, the Jets are so unlikable the whole time.
Yeah.
There's even a shot where at the end, when spoiler alert, Tony's dead on the ground, and they like show the couple sharks that are there, or sorry, the couple Jets that are there, and they like look sad, and sad music is playing, and they look like regretful, and it felt like I'm supposed to be like, oh, they're realizing their mistake, maybe they'll be good now, and I'm like, they tried to rape someone 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like it's not I don't know, the Jets were my least favorite part. I know they're not supposed to be like good guys, but it felt like there was zero. Like the only parts of the movie that I really enjoyed were like when Rachel Ziegler was on or when Ariana DeBose was on, because they're actually really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair, like, in terms of enjoyment thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good movie at, like, expressing sort of, like, the time, because the original one doesn't really get into that all that much.
Yeah, I do think that like the set design, the costume design, like the movie does. The only thing about it, how it looks that I don't like, is that it feels a little bit gray. Like a little more color could come in. Because like even the song that's like da 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 in America, which was probably my favorite one. Like that one, like tries to add color, but it still kind of has the. It feels
has
like
to
there's this
have
weird
the, like-
film over it that's
Yeah.
kind of like limiting it.
Yeah.
So, That's the only thing about it, how it looks, that I don't like. For the most part, it does look very good.
Yeah. What was I talking about before that? I don't remember.
Talking about the Jets.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And then, you were
Um,
talking about, we were talking about how Ansel Elgort's the worst of the main cast, and then we started talking about Riff.
Okay, so out of the main cast,
Yeah.
the movie got some Oscar nominations
Yep.
for stuff. Obviously, it's a Spielberg movie. It'll probably get them.
Yeah.
Ariana DeBose was like the most notable. She got Best Supporting Actress, I believe. Didn't win. But that's pretty good nomination.
Still a good
She
nom.
hosted SNL.
Nice.
That as they tried to like get the movie pumped up a little bit,
Yeah.
get people to watch it. But really, it was just like a flop.
Yeah.
And the Ansel Elgort thing, I think, as we were talking about, has an effect on that. The other thing is there's just like no stars. Like there's no real movie stars in this.
Yeah, it
Ansel
feels...
Elgort's not a movie star. He was in Baby
No.
Driver, but he's not like a movie star.
No. Yeah, I feel like, and maybe you'll disagree.
Mm-hmm.
When Olivia and I were watching, I was about to go Roland. What's it? Randall.
Sure.
We gotta stop doing that bit. I'm already bored of it. 3 episodes. My girlfriend's name is Olivia. Maybe. Anyway, I was watching the movie with her, and she disagreed with me, but I said that, not that he'd be the best casting. I'm not saying he'd be the best casting, but all I could think was that Taron Egerton would do a much better job than Ansel Elgort in the role.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who it should be because I think it should be someone younger too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Taron Egerton also is a little bit too
Yeah,
old,
like
but...
I was looking at this list and I was like, oh, there's some guys who could be good, but they're like 28. Like Ansel's 20-ish, 28-ish. He was mid-20s when they filmed it.
You know what, I'm gonna pull something out here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like weird because it feels like everybody says he should be cast in everything just because they like him, but I think this is actually a good casting for him. I honestly think that Tom Holland would probably be pretty good in this. He's done musicals before.
Yeah.
He has that, like, throw some fucking hair gel in there. He looks like he belongs there. Like, I honestly think he'd be pretty good. Maybe he's a little too cute and small.
I think that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Is he's just a little small.
Well, that's the thing with Taron Egerton, too. He's kind of short.
Like there's very few actors who are, because Tony's like kind of a big guy.
Yeah.
Who are big, can sing, and have like a tough but attractive look. And
Yeah.
aren't like 35 years old.
Yeah.
Some recastings that I thought could have worked to put a couple more butts in seats. Well, there was actually one rumored casting, whereas Isa Gonzalez was going to play, not Anita, the shop owner, Valentina. Wait, no,
Valentina?
wait, sorry, I'm getting my research all messed up. I think she was going to play Anita, yeah,
Okay.
but then that fell through.
I mean, I think Ariana DeBose was a good
No,
choice.
Sorry, I messed up. It was Valentina.
Oh, okay.
She was going to play
The old
Valentina.
lady?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, she doesn't have, like, in the original, it's Doc, who's, like, a younger man.
Oh, okay. I
He's like-
see. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, he's, like, 30, late 30s, 40. Which is kind of what she is. Which I think would have been interesting. She's not
Sure.
a huge movie star. But I don't think people... I like that Rita Moreno's in it, but I don't think people care unless they're a fan of it.
Yeah.
Another recasting that I kind of thought of was for the detective guy.
Mm-hmm.
Put Bradley Cooper in that role. That can be Bradley
Or
Cooper
just, like,
easily.
That could be, honestly, just get a big name actor for
Yeah.
that role. And
Like,
it's
you
just-
need someone else. I've seen that guy in a lot of things. I think he's a good actor, but, like, Rachel
Because you don't even
Zegler-
have to, like, give him a lot to do. It's not
No.
even a big role. You don't even have to probably pay him that
He's
much.
literally just in the beginning. Is he even in the middle at all?
He's
at the dance?
he shows up when they know that the fight's gonna go on, and
then
I
after
think
the-
after
he dies.
Yeah, and then after he dies.
Yeah, so just put, like, Bradley Cooper. Put someone in that role. And I think it would have been interesting
Yeah.
because Bradley Cooper's playing Leonard Bernstein.
Right.
Cross promote.
Yeah.
Who else? The other problem is those are the only kind of parts you can cast famous people in because there's no famous
Yeah.
movie stars anymore that are young. like Timmy Chalamet, I guess, but like
I don't know if he
even
can
like that
sing, but
much of
he
a
might
famous
make
movie star.
I think Timothy Chalamet would count.
I mean, I guess.
I think he would get more butts in seats than Ansel Elgort would.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Here's the thing, I don't think there's any like one casting you could do to make this movie not a flop. Just for when it came out, how it came out, what type of movie it is, like.
Yeah. And I guess In the Heights and, Dear Evan Hansen, we can say I haven't seen Dear Evan Hansen, but In the Heights came out as well last year. Didn't do great. So I guess it's probably just a musical thing.
Yeah, I think it's hard to market musicals. I think spending that much on a musical is like a musical film, not necessarily a musical. Because there are plenty of people go to like the theater to see.
I don't think they've spent $100 million on a musical in years.
No.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that there is. I don't think general audiences are going, oh, let's go watch a movie. I want to sit down for a musical. I mean, it happens when Olivia and I watch movies like on Netflix all the time, where she'll be like, oh, we should watch this. It's I know you don't love musicals, but I'll be like, I'm just like not in the mood to listen to songs and dance right now.
And it's also got a bummer
sometimes.
ending too.
Oh yeah, it's got a bummer.
So you go in, and the ending's a bummer. So you go in knowing it's going to be a bummer.
Yeah. I will say that a positive for the film is like I knew that it wasn't going to end well, but the whole time I was like, maybe.
That's kind of the thing with Romeo and Juliet, where you're like, it's so close to ending well. Like
the only thing that makes it like not quite as good is it feels like like the lead up to the bad ending is characters being completely irrational and stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not like, oh man, it sucks that these are the events that lead to this. It's like, no. Any one of you could stop being an idiot, and then these two could live happily ever after.
So let's get into some questions.
All right.
What's your favorite scene?
Scene?
Yeah.
Not song?
Scene.
Okay. Scene.
I think mine is probably Officer Krupke, because it can be the song as well.
Okay.
But I think that Officer Krupke scene is good, and it surprisingly works without either
the jets
of the two
in
main.
the.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I was gonna mention that earlier when I was talking about the jets being unlikable as like something I didn't like. Like I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun sequence. But like the whole time they're talking about how they're good boys deep down, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
They got a social disease.
Yeah. Man, favorite scene? I'd say probably when she's like on the staircase, like the fire escape.
That's a good one.
I just think that
and
it's
he's like climbing around trying to get to her.
Yeah, I thought the choreography
like
for him like climbing
mugging
around, them like looking through the grates, him moving over to the other thing, like she's lit like with a
like that's the reason why I
spotlight.
think it's so well made. Like there's beautiful shots.
Well, that part felt like I was watching a stage thing. It's just everything else was also filled out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it felt like I was looking at a stage set piece that
Well, it's like such a
just had a lot of
contained
money
thing.
in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's also the dance hall scene. That's a good one, Mambo.
Yeah.
And I actually really like that scene because of how they like the song when they see each other. They're like do 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 do.
And like the choreography's kind of fun because like in real life you don't meet someone and do some weird dance like that with them. But like you know that watching the movie.
Yeah.
But it feels like the dance is kind of like showing the feelings of meeting someone and having a feeling
it's like
like
getting like meeting someone being like, "Oh, who's this?" and like
Yeah. It seemed like they were honest. It felt like small talk in dance form. You know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty
And
cool.
the choreography is very good. What's the guy's name? Justin Peck, I think, did the choreography for this movie. And I like a lot of it, even though I do think it's pretty funny at sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it is
some funny
funny
parts
sometimes.
where, like, dudes are going to stab each other in the head or like throw each other off fences, and then they're like, oh, and they catch each other or something, and then roll around and spin and jump.
Yeah, when Tony's trying to get the gun from Riff.
Yeah,
or like
and they're,
vice versa.
Angrily kicking dirt.
I do think that like the choreography for a lot of the men in the movie is cool because it's still ballet, but it's very like aggressive and like punchy, which I think works pretty well. But yeah, in that scene, I just had this like looking at the scenario moment where I was like, can you imagine if you were just hanging out with your friends and then two of them just started doing this weird punch dance together,
and it's like choreographed, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and then they like just walk away and they're like, all right, where are we go? Like, what are we doing next? And then you remember that time those our two friends just started like punching each other, but they didn't hit each other a single time.
We should learn a dance.
Yeah, let's learn a dance, pretend to attack each other
at family functions.
Yeah, all of our family functions we go to, yeah.
But like separate, obviously, because we have different families.
Of course.
Janusz Kaminski shot this movie, who is like Spielberg's longtime DP. He's done like Saving Private Ryan and stuff.
Okay.
I think I've mentioned this a couple times. I think the cinematography is really good. I just feel like the color grading is like a little too trying to be a little too sleek.
It's a little bit too like, we've got to be real and rustic, and it's like, or you can make it fun.
Yeah. Like, I think there's probably a level of gray that's too much, but I appreciate
it could also be gray for
going
some scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One scene, what's your least favorite scene? I think we might have the same one.
When they try to rape a girl.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Because not only did it make me uncomfortable, but I just felt like, I don't know, it just felt weirdly, and I know that's just part of the story, but it just felt weirdly unnecessary, where it's like, what is this accomplishing other than making me hate the Jets more and feel worse for Anita as a character? And I know that kind of needs to happen that she can like lie to them about Maria being dead, and that's what blah blah blah. Like, I know that it's like just one of the steps towards whatever, but it's like it's the worst step.
Well, it confirms that they're bad guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's I feel like you're focusing on needing to find people likable in the movies or in the movie, whereas like
there's likable people in the movie.
No, but like it feels like if they're not likable, you don't like that. Like,
well, no, because I like to not like some people in movies. Like, I like to hate a villain. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It just felt like they were trying. Like, it felt like the attempted rape scene happened, but then they're still trying to convince me that they might be good guys when they like carry Tony's body away into like it feels like the whole movie. They're like, look at them, they're pieces of shit, but. Maybe they're not. They're pieces of shit, but maybe not. And I'm like, no, they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think it's doing that. I think it's just they're pieces of shit, but they're also teenagers and they're boys and they don't know what they're doing. And like it's trying to show all of that. And
well, the sharks didn't try to rape someone
that you know of.
I guess. Maybe give me more sharks content.
That is true.
More
That's the one thing that like is really missing is the sharks content. What do you think about there being a lot of Spanish that was no subtitles?
I thought it was good. I thought it was fine because I thought like they never did it for like 4 sentences at a time. They do like 2 sentences, and then one person says a line in English, and then like I thought it was well balanced.
Like you can pick up the context kind of,
and they're able to like do it with like Anita coming in and being like, you need to practice your English. So then they'll say it, but then they'll go back into the Spanish. I thought it worked well.
Yeah, I think it works really well. I think it's a really interesting thing because usually they'd subtitle it or something.
As someone who doesn't know a lick of Spanish, I like...
What about hombre?
I know sí. I know amigo.
I think that's just a letter.
But like, I thought it was balanced well. I had no problem with it at all.
Out of the 30,000 people who auditioned to be Maria, who would you have picked?
I mean, I don't know the other 29,999, but I probably would have picked Rachel Ziegler.
Would you have picked a girl who played Fiona in Shrek the Musical? Because that's...
I know the story. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know if you...
For those who don't know, she played Shrek the Musical in what, high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just picked her.
And now she's in...
500 other things.
Shazam, Snow White, Hunger Games prequel.
She's going to be such a good Snow White, I think.
Yeah.
Not that I think they need to make a live-action Snow White.
Oh, they don't need to at all.
Not at all. And the movie might honestly suck, but I think she'll obviously be good in it. I think it'll probably be similar to Little Mermaid, where... who's playing Little Mermaid again? I forget her name. Haley Bailey. Or Haley Bailey?
Olivia would know her name.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say her name.
But
I always want to say Hallie, but that's wrong.
Obviously, she's going to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the movie will not be good. But I think she will.
None of them
do
have
an
been
excellent
good,
job.
I don't think.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, none of them have been good.
No.
Maybe Barry Jenkins' Lion King 2 will be good.
Are they really making Lion King 2? Like
Barry
Simba's
Jenkins.
Pride?
I don't know if it'll be that, but I know they're making...
Because I want to see Kovu, baby.
What is that?
Kovu is Scar's nephew. And he
what does
falls
he
in
do?
love with... It's kind of actually a Romeo and Juliet story.
Well, the first one's what? Macbeth or Hamlet or something?
Yeah, the second one I think is Romeo and Juliet because
So sexy.
Simba's daughter falls in love with Scar's nephew. And
Isn't that incest?
Who knows? They're lions.
They're cousins.
No.
Second cousins, I think.
Second cousins. Whatever,
Yeah,
man.
I think in this province we're in, you can actually fuck your second cousin. Like, it's fine.
No, I think in Canada,
First cousin.
first cousin is technically legal to marry, at least. Which
Well,
is
then you're
just
fucked.
egregious.
If you're married, you're fuck.
What?
If you're married, you're fuck.
If you marry your fuck?
Yeah,
Put that on a t-shirt.
we could. Direct to consumer. Make $5 a shirt. Sell 1 million of them. $5 million.
Thank you. Wow. Wow.
Crazy math,
That
huh?
took a little bit.
Did
I don't
it?
blame you, though.
Ow! Janusz Kaminski also shot Call of the Wild. What do you think about that movie?
That's Harrison Ford, CG
Yeah.
dog.
Your mom liked that movie, right?
No,
remember
she
you-
just wanted to watch it because it had
Oh.
Harrison Ford in it.
Okay.
But she thought the dog looked creepy.
I think this is going to be the big question of the episode.
Okay.
Would you have sex with Olivia if she killed your brother and then came over? And then there's a part 2 to this as well.
That's the thing. I asked Olivia this while we were watching the movie, where I was like, would you still be with me if I killed your brother? And then she was like, it's not the same. Like, it's complicated. She knew that, like, Bernardo was, like, going to this fight. She knew something was probably going to happen.
But
Like-
we'll say in the scenario of this, Olivia and your brother are rumbling.
Yeah.
She kills him.
Yeah.
Are you letting her get laid?
I probably try to figure out more about the scenario.
You don't have time. It's either fuck now or you're done.
Well, then I'm probably gonna say no. Wait up, please. Boundaries. And if she pushes the issue, then that just means she doesn't respect me. In which case, then we're donezo. But I think she'd probably respect my wishes to, like, calm down, let me figure out what's going on. Because, like,
You have no time. No time. No time. No time. No time.
okay, then no.
Secondarily, do you think
No, you answer the same question.
Oh, of course.
Of course, yes, you would.
Oh, yeah. Because my brother doesn't exist.
Okay, then sister, dude, idiot.
Yeah, it's fine. I've realized this recently where I have, like, very much only child energy because I didn't spend a lot of time with my siblings or anyone when I was growing up.
Why is that?
Because my parents got divorced and I just played video games a lot.
Why is that?
It was more fun.
No, why the other one?
My parents got divorced?
Anyway,
We could get into that, but that's a whole... Maybe we'll do that one for Marriage Story.
this is the only conversation we've had on any of these episodes so far where I'm like, ugh, I kind of hope my family doesn't listen to this podcast.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels like a lot, but it's fine.
Do you think you'd be able to seduce Olivia after
You
killing
ask
her
why.
brother?
No. Wait, after if
Killing,
I killed her brother.
You kill her brother.
Okay.
You climb up her fire escape, knock on her window. Are you able to seduce her? Like, Ansel does.
I genuinely think she would probably do the same as I would, where it's just like what happened and try and figure out what happened.
But it's like now or never.
I think it would be similar to what happened in the movie, where she's like crying and very angry, but she also knows that like because like he's bawling his eyes out and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. It was blah blah blah. He's like clearly very like feeling a lot of remorse.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would probably happen almost how it happened in the movie in both instances, but maybe with a couple more questions before immediately making out. You know?
But it's not as hot.
But they make out like almost immediately. It's like, I didn't mean to. Oh, okay. Yum, 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 yum. And it's just like,
oh, interesting way to make out.
yeah, well, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
I think I'm immediately able to lock that down.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Because, like, I'm skilled at the art of taking someone's life, but I'm also skilled at the art of giving life.
Good grief. What's the next question, please?
I'd like to answer what my worst scene was so we can talk about this scene.
Oh, okay. I thought you already did. But...
I don't think I did. If
No.
I did, I'm being a rude.
Oh, just a real quick other scene that I liked.
you
I liked it
interrupted
when
me?
they were in the church.
I was just going to say that's my least favorite scene.
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
Because I think it's kind of boring and silly and
It is
stupid.
boring.
I think it, like, looks all right, but it's like...
I think I just like the dialogue, honestly.
Movie's 240. You're giving me 10 minutes in the church.
That's
like,
true.
And on the subway, and like not much is accomplished on the subway.
No, they're just kind of
You
there.
just- yeah.
I mean, I guess the subway scene was just used
As
to
like,
show that like she's concerned about it and he's not.
yeah. Again, knock
Yes.
against Tony.
Yeah.
Tony's not like a great guy.
No, but he does become a good guy for her.
He
You know what I
wants to.
He wants to, yeah.
I don't even know if he does become a good guy. I think he says he's going to, because this takes place over like 3 days.
No, but he tries to break up the fight, but then he stabs a man, so like...
Yeah. And he beats the shit out of her brother before stabbing him, too. Like, he's
Yeah.
going to smash his face in.
Oh, there was something I wrote down. I think it was that, like, it was entirely Tony's fault.
What?
Oh, yeah, Tony causes Riff to be stabbed by Bernardo.
Oh, yeah,
and
'cause
then
he's
kills
holding
Bernardo.
him back. Yeah.
Yeah, he, like, holds him back. It's like him holding him back got him stabbed.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Tony, best intentions, sure, but, like, he kills them both ultimately.
I think there's also a disconnect with Ansel in the role because he's so old looking. Like, he doesn't look like a grandpa, but, like, he looks pushing
He looks like he's, like,
late
27.
20s. Yeah.
And Rachel Ziegler
But they're
looks like she's
supposed
maybe,
to
like,
be
16.
They're supposed to be pretty young.
Yeah.
So you're watching this guy make like early 20s, late teens mistakes, but he's like obviously not. And it's like that in the original as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the original also had like brown face. Like they didn't have the best casting. Natalie Wood played Maria, who's white woman. Oh, but Rita Moreno got an Oscar nomination, just like Ariana DeBose. So I wonder if that's a legacy thing. We'll see.
Maybe.
I found that kind of fun though.
I will
But-
say I think that it was good that like it wasn't all Puerto Rican cast for the Puerto Rican parts.
Well, they weren't all Puerto Rican, but
Pretty sure
they weren't.
at least most of them were.
No.
Ariana DeBose is though, isn't she?
I don't know her exact lineage. I know Rachel Zegler's not.
Oh, I don't know.
She's like half Irish, half Colombian. I'm on the Rachel Zegler subreddits. For her career.
Okay, I was gonna say r/Rachel Ziegler feet or some freak.
Or
You're a freak. You're a freak.
okay, I'll take that.
I'll take that one.
What was the other question that I had? I don't know. I'm just surprised that like you think you and Olivia would want to like talk after you've murdered her brother and like
Oh, yeah.
figure it out. Like
Yeah.
we're in a rush. We gotta go. Let's get laid. Figure it out when we're in New Hampshire.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
Especially if my sibling was just murdered, or I just murdered my loved one's sibling, I'm not rushing to get laid.
But murder's an aphrodisiac.
I have one thing that I wrote down. If you're done with your questions,
I've got one more. Well, we've got two more, and then
okay. Then you do your one more. I'm gonna say my thing, and then we'll do the last one.
Any character aside from the main five that you liked, any side characters? Officer Krupke, the detective, anybody's. I like anybody's.
Anybody's was all right. But yeah, we didn't even touch on that. How, like, Olivia was talking about how in the original play, like, it was just a girl who's a tomboy. Whereas they kind of went more of, like, a trans, like, D-plot story.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had, like, a little bit more to do.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fine.
I think the movie's already so long that it's hard to add stuff, but, like, I think Bernardo, Chino,
I guess Chino.
and anybody's. I like Chino as well. But, like, he doesn't have a lot to do.
No.
Bernardo doesn't have a lot to do. Anybody's doesn't have a lot to do.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I'm like, man, I wish there were kind of more likable side characters.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm like, I wish Rachel Ziegler was, like, more in it.
Yeah, in 90% of the movie.
Yeah. So it's like, I kind of get it. The issue is, unfortunately, Rachel Ziegler being in the movie more also probably means more Ansel Elgort, which, like, whatever.
I feel like a Maria movie would be interesting.
Yeah, a Maria movie.
Yeah.
Like, what, like after these events? Maybe finding
Maybe after,
love?
Yeah. Can't give that away for free. We got to keep that.
Yeah.
Let's pitch that.
And patented. Oh, just did it.
Well, I don't know if that's how that works.
On kind of the same topic, the last thing that I wanted to say is I wrote in my notes, I give this movie the Girl Boss Award because the women outperformed the men in almost every aspect of this film.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, when I think of this movie, I'm not going to think of Tony, Bernardo, Riff.
It was kind of like that in the first one, too. Where,
Yeah.
like, Natalie Wood's good in that one. Rita Moreno's good in that one. Tony. I don't even know who plays fucking Tony.
Jared
Riff.
Fogle.
Why'd you pick that name?
I just said Jared, and then I was like, need a last name.
That's the Subway guy, right?
Yep.
Of course he'd be top of mind for you. What do you
I
think
don't
about...
even like Subway.
Here's another question. There's a former star of Dance Moms in this movie. Did you pick her out?
Nope.
Maddie Ziegler from the Sia videos?
Nope.
She's like one of the girls on the white side. I always mix up the names. I think they're the Jets, right? The
Jets,
white boys? Yeah, she's one of the girls. She's
All right.
Velma. They put her in a lot of the promotion stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because she's
Weird.
got like big social media following and stuff. I think she has 2 lines.
Nice. Is she the one that, like, at the end during the rape scene was like...
She's not the blonde one,
Okay.
but she's there. She's
Okay.
the other girl in like the blue dress.
Okay, I didn't even look at her.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched this movie 3 times. On the 3rd time I noticed her.
Mm.
So she's really not in it that much. But
The thing is, they probably could have done that with, like, a different role, like the Bradley Cooper thing you were talking about, just to get butts in seats.
I feel like they might have. Because, like, I'm sure she's a good actress and stuff. She was in a movie with, like, Jenna Ortega.
Okay.
And apparently it's a pretty good movie, The Fallout, where it's about, like, the aftermath of a school shooting.
Mm.
But she does literally nothing in this movie.
Yeah.
So, who's Adam Driver playing? I think there's one.
There's one
I think the
one.
detective could be a good one for him.
Okay.
Do you think he just plays Tony at this age he's at currently?
No. No.
I
I'm
think that's
assuming
good.
that with the Adam Driver recasting award, or
It's how
whatever it
old
is.
he is now.
Is it how old he is now? I just
Oh,
assumed
what
it
did
was
you
like.
assume?
I just assumed that it's like he's at the age that would be best for the role.
I guess, but we don't know what he acted like when he was younger because he started kind of late.
True, but I will say this. I truly think he'd probably just be a better Tony now than Ansel Elgort was.
Yeah.
It
I don't
would
know if
be
does he
weird.
sing? Oh, he was in that singing movie with the puppet.
Yeah, and he's saying like a little bit in Marriage Story, I think. But I know he has a big thing about like hearing himself singing, so I think he tries to steer clear of.
Well, he doesn't like to watch himself in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I think casting him as the detective.
Yeah, maybe that could
be good. If you wanted to do Doc instead of Valentina as the shop owner, maybe have him.
But the thing
do
is,
that.
having Doc next to, or sorry, not Doc, having Adam Driver next to Ansel Elgort, I wouldn't be like, he's a wise person in Tony's life. I'd be like, they look like fucking brothers.
Well, maybe it gives it a different dynamic.
Maybe.
Because like,
Actually,
there's also
yeah.
some weird stuff with Tony and Valentina where it's like, Tony's just like a racist too. Where he's like he's like, I'm gonna marry a Puerto Rican girl just like Doc did. Be a good guy. And you're like, what are you talking about, my man?
Yeah, he's almost like treating it. And someone says it. I think it might even be Bernardo who says
where he's
something
like, you're gonna
about,
marry a Spanish girl and whatever.
just to like make yourself feel good, feel like you're doing something different.
Marry a Puerto Rican girl and make yourself feel good about yourself or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Which like I get that a little bit. But
yeah,
honestly,
that's what people were telling me.
Honestly, like, I'd probably just choose Tony just because Ansel Elgort's not great. And I think in this role, and I don't think that Adam Driver, or I think that Adam Driver would do kind of well with the
detective
bad boy kind of like, he's a bad guy, but like he really wants to be good kind of thing. I mean,
yeah,
it was poorly written, but he kind of did that with Kylo Ren a little bit.
I think he's just got like, he's a good cop. He's good at playing a cop.
He'd be a good cop.
And that's like, the detective doesn't do a lot, but I think that would be like, if you're picking him right now, that's a good one. I think his Tony would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is this better than Philosopher's Stone?
I don't think so.
So I'll let you in on a little secret.
Okay.
When I was watching these, I wrote down my little rankings.
Okay.
And
I'm probably going to be baffled by this.
I put West Side Story 1, John Wick 2.
You put West Side Story 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Philosopher. Well, I like this movie a lot.
Okay. I didn't know you liked it that much.
And what's this?
Hardcore
Henry 4th. Which I feel like that's our unanimous one before we even get into that episode.
Yeah. Hardcore Henry's next episode, it's not beating any of these films.
No. I'm kind of rethinking it a little bit because I rethought, like, obviously John Wick didn't go 2.
Yeah.
So I feel like talking about, I think it's between the two, honestly. I think it's better than John Wick.
Okay.
I think it's much better made. Like, I know you talked about the color, but like,
sure.
If you watch the actual shots, and I'm not saying that you don't, I'm like,
no, sure.
But like, Spielberg's such a master at crafting shots and blocking shots, and like,
he takes full advantage of the frame.
Yeah, and like, there's a lot of long takes in this.
Yeah,
where the choreography is just playing out, and when, like, after you've watched it 3 times, you kind of watch that, and it's like, wow, this is an incredible performance by this huge cast of people. Like the Mumbo scene, the dance hall scene.
Yeah,
that's insane.
That's and the lighting is excellent in that.
So
that scene,
like, I think it's much better made than John Wick, but I don't think it accomplishes its degree of difficulty, like we talked about with Harry Potter, where like that's a difficult movie to.
You know what? That's a good point. Philosopher's Stone and West Side Story probably have similar degrees of difficulty in making. It's just Philosopher's Stone, I think, succeeded more in that.
I think it hits its tone that it's going for a little better. And I just think you're adapting something like difficult to adapt. There's some really good updates. Like, I think the like political and economic stuff that's added into this, where it's like really showing like the Lincoln Center and like it's the governments that's like pitting these two gangs against each other, like in a macro sense. It's because of the governments. It's because they're tearing down these low income housing things to build like theaters for the rich.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast with Tony Kushner, and he was like, I live across from the Lincoln Center now. So when I was writing this, I was like, looking at the thing that I'm writing about
Yeah.
and the reason why these people, because it's all accurate too. Like, it's all historically accurate.
Yeah.
Like, why these people aren't living there anymore and, like,
Yeah.
what happened to them. But
Yeah,
I
it does
just
feel
think,
very real.
I think Tony's just, like, not good enough.
Yeah.
Ansel's not good enough. And there's not enough of the good parts to prop it up.
Yeah, I think that if Tony was more engaging and doesn't even have to be on Rachel Ziegler's level, but just like closer to her level.
And he's got to be younger. Like,
Yeah, and younger.
it's so hard to suspend your disbelief when you're looking at a dude who's like 30
Yeah.
and she's like clearly a teenager because she was a teenager when they made the movie.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I think if they get Tony right, and then I think maybe just like add a little more color, I think that, or not even add a little more color, just like bump
the
it up a little bit.
saturation up or something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know much about color,
Yeah,
but I know
yeah.
that they got to do something.
yeah, I think they just needed to use less gray and brown.
You don't like shit?
I don't like dust and dirt, which I get like in the time, but like then make the clothing exciting, like
Yeah.
especially in the time period. Like I feel like a lot of, because everything was so grungy a little bit, I feel like clothing and appliances and like all of these and like the buildings, I feel like everything was a little more colorful than it is now.
But maybe that's just like the view that we've painted onto
Maybe.
the 50s, right?
But I think that I personally, for my personal list, would not put West Side Story above John Wick,
Really?
just because
John Wick's a little more fun.
I think so, and I think it's just a little more tight.
Yeah.
But I have no problem putting, like, doing West Side Story second, because like I would watch this movie again.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's like, "You guys want to watch the West Side Story?" I'd be like, "Okay."
I think it's good on a rewatch if you look at like the camera stuff. And
Yeah.
Just like think about how they're making it.
And even truly, if it was the exact same movie, but they replaced Rachel Ziegler with someone who's like pretty good, like who's in musicals that's like pretty good.
Oh fuck me, I don't know. But just like any other girl,
Yeah.
it probably just doesn't work as well.
You know what? Here's one. If they literally replaced her with Ariana Grande, it would be less good. And she's like, Ariana Grande is a great singer, obviously.
Yeah.
But like,
She was really good in Don't Look Up.
was she?
No, it's a horrible movie.
Was
It's not funny at all. Yeah, it's not funny at all.
Okay. Well,
So-
I have not seen it. I heard very
don't
mixed
like
things
it very
about it.
much.
But like, I truly think that Rachel Ziegler, and then to an extent or to a degree, Ariana DeBose, they kind of carry the movie a little bit for
Yeah.
me.
And
I
then
like it, but I don't love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair. Like, I think it's better made than John Wick.
That's fair.
And I think, it's just like John Wick's a little tighter, but I think the John Wick second half, like after the nightclub stuff, is kind of like
Yeah, it
you could
does bog
stop
down,
watching the movie, honestly,
Yeah.
because you've climaxed during the nightclub scene. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the end of a lot of Nolan movies, where you're kind of just like, I'm not sure what the fuck's like. Let's just get to the end.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about the end when I think, oh, actually with Interstellar I am.
Well, it's like how last night we watched the movie Four Christmases.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Vince
And then you
Vaughn
get into the last
Reese Witherspoon.
25 and you're like, this is horrendous.
Yeah, it's like a pretty funny movie for the first 2/3.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3/4.
Yeah.
But like the last bit, they're like, okay, now we gotta like wrap up all of the emotional things we set up.
Yeah. Now John Voight's going to tell Reese Witherspoon how to live. I don't even remember what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I think the only
That's the
joke
movie.
in like the last quarter of the movie is when they have a kid, spoiler alert, and Vince Vaughn is like, I don't even know how we got here. You were just in the bed, and all of a sudden we're here. There's this beautiful thing that I've never seen. And he's like doing his whole.
And then he gets thrown
thing.
up on.
And then he gets thrown up on, which is funny because puke.
Yeah. We should do 4 Christmases next week.
I was honestly thinking of maybe switching one of my holiday movies to
We'll
Four
see.
Christmases, but
We'll see.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. I think we're done.
Yeah. So
West Side Story second.
West Side Story between Philosopher's Stone and John Wick, which I think is fair.
I think so too.
And we'll see where Hardcore Henry goes.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But yeah, next week is Hardcore Henry.
That's Adam's movie.
Which I
Of
chose. I'd never
course.
seen it before. I wanted to pick for the first month. I wanted to do one that I love and one that I've never seen before. So,
And one that you don't love.
I didn't choose a third film.
No, that was Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, but I didn't know whether I was gonna love it or not. So
You could have guessed.
probably could have guessed. But yeah,
As everyone can tell, this podcast is on the rocks, so we might as well end it now.
it's on the rocks.
Yep.
Like ice. Or fries. Or no, fries are sticks, so it would be rice.
Yes.
This podcast is rice.
It's on rice. Have a good week.